Hello, everyone. My name's Lee Johnson, still coming to you from Denver, Colorado on vacation. And for my second review, I will be giving everyone a rundown of the Steam software platform. Alright, so Steam is a video game distributor created by Valve, who've made popular video games like Half-Life, in order to buy and update online video games. So you can see here that it's a pretty complicated layout, starting at the very top with the feature and recommended. You can see here that the Steam creators have placed all popular video games, things have just come out right in front of the user's face. So you can see games like The Witcher right now, and games like Warframe that are currently very popular, so that people can easily reference them and say, hey, I've heard about that game, I think I want to learn more about it. You can see here that the next section they have is for special offers, which is something that is really great for a gamer like me who is looking to get into a new game or a new franchise without necessarily breaking the bank. You can see also here that they have games that the community recommends, and then they have a discovery queue here, which shows video games that are like the games that you've played before. So that works great whenever you're looking to get into something, but you want something kind of like the experiences that you've had. Down below, you can see games that are relevant to games that I've played, like Ticket to Ride, and so on and so forth. Scrolling back up to the top, you can see lots of different categories on the side. You can see categories like games that are top sellers, new releases, upcoming games, specials, virtual reality, and controller-friendly games. And then you can see here that you can browse by some genres like action, adventure, casual, and indie games. Up at the top here, you can see that I have a couple tabs, the most important being your store, which shows you categories like games that the community recommends, a couple of categories or tags which are games that certain categories in games that are relevant, like permadeath, crafting, survival, and open world survival craft, just some of the categories that I like. You can see here that under the browse, you can also look at games through popular categories such as, again, action, adventure, massively multiplayer, and so on and so forth. So I think one of the big benefits of this platform or this user interface is, especially for Steam, is that they immediately show you games that will catch your eye. There are a lot of bright colors, there are a lot of new games that you might have heard about, so they immediately show those to the user who might go, okay, well, I've heard a lot about Microsoft Flight Simulator recently, so let me check that out and see if that's something that I'll be able to get into. However, I think one of the downsides of this is while all the bright colors and everything really draw in the user, it also makes it a little bit complicated. To the new user, it's a little intimidating because it's a lot going on and you're not entirely sure what it's all for, especially with all of these categories over here. And it's even a problem for more experienced users like myself. You can see here that when they browse by genre, they have a couple of popular categories. But if you're looking for something a little more niche, like a roguelike game that I like, you can see here that that's not necessarily an option coming from at the very front. You can see here, even with a couple of more genres, that it's really not here. You really have to go into the more popular tags. And then you can see here on the left all of the categories that they have for games. Obviously, they can't put this at the beginning of their user interface. They can't put this right at the forefront because it's a lot to go through. However, in order to find a specific game that I'm looking for or a specific type of experience, it's a little hard to find exactly what I'm looking for. Right? Now moving on, we'll take a look at the library here. You can see here that these are all games that I purchased. At the top, you can see updates to these games, so I can easily see, okay, well, this is what's new about a game and this is what's exciting. You can see here that these are recent games that I've played, starting with games that I've played obviously the most recently, and then moving back by date. And then you can see here that the makers of Steam are still advertising even with the games that I've already purchased, and you can see games that I have yet to try but are still popular in the community. And then at the very bottom, you can see pictures of all the games that I've played. On the left, you can see here an itemized list of these games. You can see that the bright colors here are games that I have downloaded to my PC and can play now, and the ones that are a little darker are games that I don't have downloaded just yet, but I can download them and then play them. So I think one of the benefits that works for this user interface is that, like I referenced in my last review for the Nintendo Switch, it immediately shows me games that I've played most recently. I've logged a lot of time with Don't Starve, and it's great that I don't have to scroll through this interface in order to find that game again in order to play it. It immediately shows up so that if I want to play it, which I usually do, it's pretty easy for me to access. Another great thing about this user interface is all of the cards here for each game that you've played, and I think it works in a way that people really haven't thought about. But the all of the colors and all of the visuals for these games makes me feel proud of my collection. It makes me say, look at all of these games that are unique to me, that describe my experience as a video as a gamer. I can show this to someone else, and it really gives off a specific vibe of who I am as a person. You can see here that Don't Starve has a little bit of darker colors, and it has a little more creepy vibe versus Hey Tofu Boyfriend, which is a little more of a silly game with pastel colors, and is a dating sim. So it really creates a niche of who I am as a video gamer, and lets me show off my personality and what I like to do. However, on the flip side of that, while I think that having all of these cards is great, I think for the beginning gamer, it's a little hectic. There's a lot going on here, and for someone who is looking at a huge collection but is new to Steam, this can be a little intimidating. I can tell I can say from personal experience that looking at my friend's collection of games when I was first starting out as an online gamer, it was a little daunting to see all of the games that they had collected, and how many games that they played, and it really set me back in this experience of trying to get into Steam. However, I think that it's also a little daunting for even the average player, because this is a lot to go through. In order to find a game specifically that I haven't played in a while, but I know I have, it's hard to sort through, okay, well, do I have it downloaded? Do I need to download it now? Do I currently own a copy? Where is it? So I think while this is great and it has a lot of color and it really shows off who I am as a person, I think sometimes it gets a little bit hectic. However, other than that, I think that the Steam platform works really well. I don't think it takes a lot of learning curve in order to get into it, especially when starting out, you won't have a lot of games in your library. So if you can learn how to navigate the Steam store, the library should come just as easily to you. Other than that, I think it's a pretty great interface.